Welcome back to Cooking with Chucho, and today we're gonna make Chile Verde. So this is one of my favorite dishes because it just brings back memories from growing up in Mexico, my mom cooking this for me, and we're gonna start with cutting up the pork. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut up this piece of pork into like 1-inch squares, try to keep it as consistent as possible. A lot of people say to take off that fat. No, we're gonna leave that in there because that's gonna give it that taste in it. This is a nice 4-pound piece of pork shoulder. I'm just gonna go to town. After you cut up the meat, remember I said little 1-inch cubes. We're gonna sear it on the Instapot. So this is gonna be a Chile Verde recipe on the Instapot. Definitely makes it get cooked in 30 minutes instead of having to cook it for an hour and a half. So it's definitely convenient to make it a little faster. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put small batches in the Instapot on the searing side. Don't want to crowd it, but just want to get them all in there. We're gonna brown all the sides. We're gonna brown all the sides, then take them out, and then put the next batch on there. After you browned all the sides, we're gonna put a little bit of chicken stock in there, an onion, salt, and pepper. All right, so one thing that's very important is to make sure that you do not crowd the pork so it can brown properly. Because if you crowd it, you put too much in there, it's just gonna steam and it's not gonna get that nice little sear on there. So very important, don't crowd it. It does take a little bit of patience because this is a smaller pot. If you have the bigger one, it gets a little hotter and you get to cook it more at a time. Now, you can cook it at another pan and then transfer it here later. But since we're not doing that many, I just go a little bit at a time. So once you get all the cubed pieces of pork nice and brown on all the sides, as best as you can, we're gonna put it all back into the Instapot, like that. And then we're gonna add 1 cup of chicken broth. You can add 1 cup of chicken broth, or you can do just water. That chicken already has lots of flavor, so the broth just gives it a little extra flavor. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, pepper, close it, and we're gonna do 25 minutes of the pressure cook, and then we're gonna let it naturally depressurize for a good 10-15 minutes. While the pork is cooking in the Instapot, that's gonna take like 25 minutes plus another 10 minutes of a natural release. We're gonna start making the tortillas. So what I put on this was 4 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and another teaspoon of salt. And then we're gonna just mix it up a little bit, and then we're gonna add half a cup of lard. Yeah, Mooch is smelling that. It can be either lard or vegetable shortening, actually. This is vegetable shortening. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put it in here and we're gonna start mixing it up with a fork until it gets a little nice and little crumbly. And then we're gonna add some warm, it could be warm water, but I like to use a little bit of chicken broth. It gives it a little extra taste to it. So we'll get that, when we're gonna rest it for like 20 minutes, just covered with like a nice little damp cloth. And then we're gonna get back to the Chile Verde by starting to cook the salsa with all these delicious ingredients. Okay, so as you can see, I've used just this fork to kind of get all this together, and it's just a little crumbly right there. And then we're gonna add the chicken broth. We're gonna mix this until it turns into a ball. The consistency you want it to be like Play-Doh and not be sticky at all. So we're gonna keep moving this a little bit, and then once it's ready to go in ball, I'm gonna put it on the table, and we're just gonna knead it for a good 5 minutes and go to town on it. You can use a mixer if you have one. Makes it a little easier. You won't get your hands so much dirty, and then the mixer just does all the job for you. What do you think, Mooch? You like it so far? Is that good consistency? How's that nose twitching? Yeah? All right, good boy. I have the ball right here. Took it out of the bowl, and we're gonna mix it a little bit. You see how it is right now? It kind of breaks up a little bit. We're gonna knead it until it's nice and smooth. What do you think, Mooch? Does that taste pretty good? You like it? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, I think he approves. Let's get this kneaded for another 4 minutes. What you're gonna do is you're gonna squeeze it with your finger and your thumb. Boom. There's a little ball right there. Get a little ball. If you want the big tortillas, the 12-inch, 9-inch, 8-inch, you go with bigger balls. If you want a little Little tortillas, you know, you go with little golf size, maybe a little bigger than a golf size. What you're gonna do is, once they're in a ball, you know, flatten them up like a little hockey puck, and then you're just gonna send them in that same bowl that you just did to make the dough. Now, as you can see, I put all the tortillas in there, just flatten them out like a little hockey puck, and then we're gonna cover it up for 20 minutes. So next we're gonna move on forward to the salsa, the Chile Verde, the one that gives it that delicious taste. So as you've seen in my videos before, I made a green salsa. It's gonna be just a little different, but I learned a new trick. My mother told me, hey, why don't you just put all the tomatoes on a pan and broil them to get that little roasted flavor on them. I'll put the jalapenos, I'll put this poblano pepper to add a little more depth in the flavor, and then I'm gonna put these there. Now after these are on the broiler for a little bit, I am gonna put them back to boil so we can get them nice and cooked. Boom, just laid out like that. I'll put it in the broiler on hot, put it in there. Tomatoes and the peppers, oh look at that. Nice and black. We're gonna just transfer them up here, and we're just gonna go ahead and put them on the boiling water for a little bit, because the bottom's still not all the way cooked. Top is. We're just gonna go ahead and drop them on in there. I would say I already have this water boiling, so I would say maybe like 3 minutes just to kind of get the rest going. We're gonna put the tomatoes, the peppers, the garlic, all that with the charred skin. And then we're gonna put it on the stove and let it simmer a little bit while the pork is done. After you blend the salsa, you're gonna transfer it over to a pan, to a pot, and just let it start simmering down. This is where you take the time to spin around, add a little salt, get the taste in it, add a little bit of pepper. And now we're gonna make rice. It's very simple, very good, very nice and steamy rice. All we're gonna do is get 2 cups of rice. You gotta make sure you rinse it with cold water for a good 2-3 minutes until it's running clear at the bottom. Always with rice, the staple is 1 part rice to 1.5 parts water. 1 part rice to 1.5 parts water. Rinse it, put it on the pot, boil it. Once it boils, turn it down to simmer. Leave it alone, cover it, leave it alone for 15 minutes, and golden. Perfect. Right, Mooch? All right. After you rinse the rice, you're gonna pour it on here, and then you're gonna put, so I did 2 cups of rice, and I'm gonna do 3 cups of water. This is where you can add salt, pepper, and then a couple of cardamom pods. What you do with those, you just grab them, you kind of pinch them a little bit to open them up. Pinch, up. I'm gonna put 4. Don't worry, they are gonna steam up to the very top. You wanna put it on high. Once it starts boiling, you're gonna put it to the lowest setting you can go, and then you're just gonna cover it up for 15 minutes. Now the dough has been resting for 20 minutes, we're gonna take it out. We're gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour, and then we're gonna start making the tortillas. So you get it like that so it doesn't stick, and then we're gonna use the rolling pin. Twist it 90 degrees to make that perfect circle. The key to this is to make the tortilla super thin. The thinnest you can get it, it'd be great, because it is gonna puff up whenever we put it on the burner, on the skillet. And then you can twist it the other way. And then you gotta make sure, and you ask Chucho if you think this is okay. Is that thin enough, Mooch? Yeah, you like it? All right, I think he likes it. Okay, so I've been letting this sauce simmer for a little bit. It tastes delicious. I've been adding a little bit of salt, just making it perfect. This is ready. There's pretty much almost no steam coming out. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Oh, look at that. Now that is some delicious pork. What we're gonna do, we're gonna use the spoon and just transfer over. Try not to bring any of the juices. We're just gonna put it in there. Oh yeah. And as you can see over here, the tortillas, they're getting nice and warm, nice and cooked. We wanna get the little brown bits everywhere. We wanna make sure it cooks through all the way. If your tortilla doesn't come out perfectly circular, that's fine. Mine doesn't. I've never been able to, only my mother has, but they still taste delicious. Look at this deliciousness right here. We're talking about the Chile Verde. Look at that meat right there. the white rice. The reason I made a simple white rice and not like the Mexican red rice is because whenever we're eating this rice, I'm gonna scoop a little bit of that salsa on it, and it's gonna add so much flavor to it. You don't wanna have like the tomato rice or the red rice. I also made Chucho a little doggy-friendly taco burrito thing where it's got the pork without any seasoning, it's got the rice, and it's got a good old flour tortilla, which is good for him. And then the tortillas, I have them all right here. Now, they're not perfect. Some of them are gonna be a little, you know, some of them might look like a chancla, some of them look like a heart, but you know, it's what's in the inside that matters. I like to add the lime at the very end. Some people like to put it at the beginning, but I like to add it just a little bit at the end along with this. And I guess now we're gonna do the good part. Let's try it out. Mooch, come on. Chucho, right here. Go for it. What do you think? You like it? You like it? Have the pork. Have some of the pork. Oh, yeah. We're gonna wash this plate really, really good. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think he likes it. He approves. All right, now it's my turn. No, just kidding. Now it's my turn. I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm not even gonna use a fork. Look at that. Put a little bit of rice in there. Yeah. That pork is so tender. And that salsa, oh, it's so good. It's got a little spice to it. Just go back in there a little more. Don't forget you got avocado. I know, this is mine, sir.